Yeah, yeah, man. So, man, this has been. I don't even know if I'm doing a good job, man, because you like I could pull on so much, but I'm trying to. Wow, man, this just been great. Look, I can't even finish my sentences, but you had mentioned politics follow you wherever you go. It's just a part of you. And then we've talked about Cali, we talked about New England, DC. You were there for some of the things that went on this summer, COVID being one, Black Lives Matters protests. Um, what is your recollection, or what can you share with us as like you said, your work and life was happening alongside of that, man? What was your experience?
That's a lot. Um, and just being flat out like how to be an accomplice and support Black folks as a non-Black person is a question I'm always asking myself, right? And when you see these things come to light, you know, literally state-sanctioned violence and murder, everything gets heightened. Um, I think me personally, I'm beyond like the implicit bias, whether it's real or not. I'm beyond whether or not Black Lives Matter or not, because they do. I'm more of like, how do I, with the identities that I hold, being heterosexual, cisgendered, light-skinned Mexican, how do those identities give me privilege and disprivilege, and how do I perpetuate anti-Blackness within my communities, right? Because I view like racism the same, like yeah, like there's no to me color blindness isn't the way to go. Like you
Hmm.
recognize that race has impacts on people's outcomes because
Hmm.
systemically it's embedded and coded within the systems, right? But even me, like I've come to terms with that I am a palatable version of a person of color. When I'm around white people, they know I'm not white, but they don't know what I am. But what I am is digestible to them.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Ooh.
I can be that
Oof.
exotic friend to them because I can talk their talk, but at the same time, I can turn around and be like, yo, these, XYZ. And I
Yeah.
come to terms with that. Like, all that to say is during those times, I was just trying to think of like, I work with pretty much a predominantly Black team. I have dope homies in my comunidad who identify as Black. So it's just me, like, how do I support them in not a tokenizing way? How do I go
Mhm.
beyond the marches, beyond the book clubs, beyond like that one time donation to a Black Lives Matter organization? Like, how do I go beyond that? Like, are you doing it to make yourself feel better? Or are you doing it because you're really down for liberation? I think those were the questions I was asking myself. Like,
Mhm.
because these are things I'm constantly just personally, internally, just reflecting. Like how do I perpetuate anti-blackness? Like how do I perpetuate like toxic masculinity? All these things, and I don't think I'll ever get to a point where I've gotten rid of them because of the identities and the privileges that I have. All I can do is be like recognize it better and do a better job. But at that point, man, it really was like just having conversations with other people within my friends that were not Black, right? And offering supports in whatever way that I could to my Black friend. And sometimes it was like, yo, how was your day? And we talk about it and share that space. Other times it was like, yo, here's the song that I heard. I know that's your love language. Like, here you go. Hopefully this provides something positive to your day.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it was a constant duality of how do I, a quote unquote person of color, perpetuate anti-blackness and how I can get better? And how can I support the Black folks within my life without it being tokenizing and without it being a burden to them? And those are two things that I think I will never figure out, but I can get better at doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you, and I appreciate the explanation of the tokenizing. Right. I started to feel that way, like with the T-shirts and the hashtags, and it kind of became like a cool thing to do in my eyes, and that might just me being jaded or whatever, right? But sort of like this whole conversation, policy is a moving train, but a slow moving train. So like undoing generations of just we'll just call it wickedness. You know what I'm saying? Um, is going to be a moving but a slow moving train, right? So a t-shirt is a start, and it's no disrespect to that for the people who got on the momentum, but it's a 12 round fight, to be sure. You know what I'm saying? This ain't gonna be a Tyson. You know what I'm saying? You gotta watch more than two rounds. This is a 12 round fight. Because we being everybody that's down is really trying to upend a historic system that's been in place forever, right? So you have pushback against that, right? The old guard, so to speak. So, but since you have boots on the ground, man, I just wanted to get that perspective, you know.
Yeah, and actually, when Sam came to visit me, we did go to like a couple of protests. Having that conversation within ourselves as a biracial couple, what that means. I think it just hits different when you're in the epicenter of it. I
Yeah,
honestly, I never had any dreams of moving to DC and being at the center of stuff. That was never in my cards. But I recognize when things are going on in the country, it's amplified in DC.